How's everyone doing? Welcome to the final episode of After the After Hours with your boy TraderPrad. The final day of this week is tomorrow going to be a free fall Friday. Now get ready for tomorrow. Powell going on the microphone. Powell going on the microphone again. Get ready for tomorrow. So I do have a watch list ready, but if you guys are ready, hit that like and subscribe. Hit that like and subscribe. Thank you guys for all the love. Thank you guys for all the support. This is your boy TraderPrad. TraderPrad. But if you guys are ready for this show to get started, why don't we dive into the full screen and hit that like and subscribe. What is up, mother suckers? How's everyone doing? Hopefully you guys had a wonderful day today. That's right, a lot of light in the room. You guys see a lot more than what you usually see. So don't get used to it, okay? Don't get used to it. It's because it's not as bright outside today. Although it's ridiculously sunny, it's not as bright outside today. And also, I'm a little late. I got home pretty late today. I ran my dog outside for a quick little walk. Made my thumbnail as soon as possible. Well, AI made my thumbnail as soon as possible. Don't have a watch list ready. I'm still in the process of making my review of my 4 trades on the day, and I've reviewed 3 trades so far, but I haven't reviewed my last trade, which honestly might be the one that I will have to review the most. So maybe we'll start off with reviewing Circle live on stream with you guys, and then we'll show you the other stocks that I traded on the day, and then we'll transition from there over to creating a watch list, curating a watch list live in front of you for tomorrow, and then basically looking for levels and looking for trades off said watch list. So if you guys are excited, hit that like, hit that subscribe, and enjoy the stream. Yo, it's Quebec National Day, so won't be here. Enjoy the stream. Thank you, brother. Enjoy yourself too. Have fun and at the Quebec National Day. Don't get too drunk, and if you do, don't drink and drive. Have fun. It's pretty hot outside, so hopefully you're staying liquidated. And liquidated doesn't mean alcohol. You gotta drink water because alcohol does dehydrate you. So enjoy. I'll see you next time, my guy. Why didn't you tell me earlier? Because I would have shown up. I would have canceled the stream and shown up to Quebec, and we could have had some fun. So thank you for not inviting me. Anyways, let's start off with reviewing a couple trades on the day today, starting with Circle. So as we said, Circle could be the first red day today, right? We talked about this setup yesterday. could be the first red day today, and it's set up exactly like that. He tried to go higher off the open, didn't manage to really have much buying power above some of the other key levels from yesterday and some of the key levels from pre-market. Didn't have much power to the upside, and then eventually the stock just stayed below VWAP all day. This was exactly the action that you wanted to see. Last night I also tweeted out a link from Perplexity AI based on how you would look for the first red day setup, and this is exactly that setup. You saw the stock holding below VWAP all freaking day. On every single pop above VWAP, it would just get sold right back down. Was it hard? Yes, it wasn't easy by the slightest, but if you cared about just the setup, the proof in the concept of the setup, then you probably would have done what some of the legends that I'm looking at over here. Let me pull up this chart. Some of the legends that I'm looking at who were short all day, short on every single pop and not caring about what the pops do, and then letting the stock really play out for them. So shout out to Yanni. Always love seeing this guy trade. He was an ex SMB Capital trader, and now he trades his own capital. So always love seeing stuff like that from pros, and sadly, I'm not a pro, and that obviously costing me a lot today, costing me on the mental side, costing me on the capital side, and on all sides. So pretty upset with my performance. Looking for, I guess you could say, very, very, very basic setups to be involved in. This is a pretty basic setup. Looking for that trend line, looking for the triangle, I guess you could say. This was around 10 o'clock, so from 9:30 to 10 o'clock, the stock creates a little bit of a triangle and has an eventual breakdown of the triangle with the lower high, and the lower high, also higher low. So beautiful wedge pattern, and if you can see, actually it never really gets back above into this area to the north side. So it just kind of grinds the lower trend line and then grinds the VWAP and then just pushes back to the south side. Obviously the grind in the lower trend line is not a real thing. The more important thing is the fact that it was grinding VWAP to the downside all day. If below VWAP, sell the stock. If above VWAP, buy the stock. Very basic rules that everybody knows about the stock market. So on that note, I should have been really willing to pick up shares on the pops. I could have recycled those shares multiple times on the drops. So short, cover, short, cover. Obviously this is hindsight, right? So if I have enough size to cover and then have some for the eventual bigger move down, that would have probably been profitable for me. But shorting on the pops and covering on the drops and then looking for the breakout entry, would have been really profitable. That being said, I was looking for the breakout entry in this area. The stock was SSR, so given its SSR nature, I wasn't able to catch that long on this name today. You could say I used the wrong order types. I think that is one of the problems over here. And then after not getting filled on the stock, I also gave up on fighting for this name. I just had like a loser mentality. I was like, oh, come on, this was supposed to be the trade, I don't even have the trade, while everyone on Twitter is going to be posting amazing big winners, and I'm going to be the only professional trader, and I'm putting that in quotes because I'm not a professional trader, right? Only professional trader who doesn't have this trade on the board today. So how bad of a trader really am I? But I guess in comparing it to my current skill level and so on, I guess I should be a little bit more okay with not being able to really catch this trade or fighting for this trade over here. But end of the day, being okay doesn't get you where you want to be. It's being upset at yourself and kind of beating yourself up for this, but also beating yourself up for it in a constructive way. It's like, how could I actually trade this stock? How could I have caught this, and what are the variables to keep an eye out for next time that this setup actually shows up? So that is the process that I will be doing tonight, possibly after stream. But this is the process here where I basically do before stream and show you guys my notes. So let me just put in, took the took the triangle pattern, took the triangle wedge break as a short, which didn't have too much of a move down, as the infinite 245 buyer just kept holding the bid. So you took my quick $2 per share loss and walked away from this one, looking to get in when the stock breaks 242/240 area. Okay, so that is the first note for that trade. The next note is maybe use the wrong gateways, didn't catch a single fill on edge A with the breakdown. It was SSR, so that makes sense, but no reason to give up on the trade just because your preferred gateway didn't fill. Start offering to get filled on pops and still use the same stop you would have. May just size down. Okay, so that's that. Missing out that trade is not worth the the headache that I was dealing with myself today. Gave myself too much headache for that. Eventually FOMO'd into a trade here, which not too upset about, but possibly poor stop usage. Used the 2-minute trail and got stopped out. Had that been a bigger move down, I would have probably tilted hard. Gotta be honest with yourself, guys. In this business, if you're not honest with yourself, you're gonna pay the price. Gotta be honest with yourself. After the stock popped back up from a failed low of day break, was a little bit relieved, happy, a little bit happy because now I don't have to tilt. LOL. After stock pop back into the move start AVWAP plus yesterday's low, noticed how it could not get above it, so took the buyer range low break to get short for a possible leg 2. If the earlier bottom was capitulation, this should have gone higher already, but since we are under yesterday's low still and under the move VWAP, figured this was a trade to take. Again, poor stop should have been above yesterday's low. Okay, and that, ladies and gentlemen, is the brutal honesty in my trades today, sadly. And we spent about 14 minutes just talking about one goddamn stock today. I love it. 14 minutes talking about one goddamn name. And let me post this. And now let's talk about the other movers on the day that I took advantage in. Now, obviously, you saw the one loser on the day that I not too happy about it. I'm pretty tilted about still. But let's talk about the better trades on the day. Let's talk about the winner. The one stock that possibly saved my day for me, ASTS. And guess what? We talked about this name last night on stream. ASTS was the stock that I was very, very bullish about. If you guys remember, let me pull up yesterday's watch list. Yesterday's watch list, ASTS looking for support above 46.50 as a second line of defense. I did tell you second line of defense. First line of defense for me would be any buying above 50 bucks, and that's exactly how the stock played out. First you get the opening action below 50 or around 50, then you get the stock popping through 50 to the north side into what, $52, and then it pulls back from 52 all the way back into $50 and shows you buying above 50. So that is a signal right there for me. Okay, buyers are willing to step up higher than the previous low and above a even significant dollar area number 50, which also happens to be the previous all-time high. This is just all systems go at this point. Now, that being said, I don't think this was enough for the trade. I don't think that little back and forth around 50 was enough to be in the trade. So realizing that, it was a starter size anyway. So starter size, realizing that I was a little bit too early to the trade. On the pop, I was seeing if there was going to be some move to the upside. If so, then maybe I could add and make it a real trade. But if that pop got sold, which it did, that pop got sold. So I figured, you know what, let's take the exit. If the trade is to be played out, that means it's going to get back above 51. There's a seller into 51, even though there's a buyer into 50, there's a seller at 51. It's possible that the 52 seller moved into 51. It's possible that the 49 buyer moved into 50, and you have the buyers and the sellers kind of moving against each other and fighting each other at the equilibrium at the midpoint. Eventually, if one side loses, we're gonna see that clearly as a change of characteristics on the tape, on the chart. And you saw that right here at the 51 break. 51 takes out, starting with the starter size, noticing that the stock on every single pushback is now finding buyers above the previous pivot area, intraday pivot, you can call it 51. So now using that to add more size. Again, we pop back up, but on that pop, lower high, lower low. But after making that lower low, we pop right back up again. I'm like, okay, that's pretty interesting. We go into 50-50. The stock looks like it's going to start holding below VWAP after trying to fight up here. If it doesn't go in this area, the chances are it's going to just die off or trade sideways, at which point I don't want to be involved in. But if it does this and then starts to actually hold above the stair step, basically stair step, stair step, stair step, if it does exactly what it did over here, then the pattern is what I want to see, and we're seeing that play out beautifully, taking the breakout at this range, possibly add spot somewhere over here. Didn't need to take that profit. After you see a move like this is exactly what you want to see, that it's in your favor. So no reason to take that profit there. If I did take that profit, no need to take that profit over there into the high of day, because chances are it's going to break the high of day. So basically making nothing on these two covers, and the real winner comes from these main covers over here. On this trade, figuring that, look, this looks like a Spencer scalp. This is holding above a new all-time high, holding above the intraday high, and doing so for about 20 minutes or more. If that's the case, then let me just take my profits in this trade and protect myself from a possible whip back into VWAP. But also, if it does break the high a day, get long again for a brand new trade for the Spencer scalp trade. So use that to get long over here, and not enough momentum, not enough volume, I guess I should start saying with that, not enough volume to look for a momentum based trade over here. And because of that, not really making too much profits with some size in this area. I made profits, don't get me wrong, it's just not as much profits as I would have loved to. Had I actually given it the right stop, which was at the low of this range, the stock actually does go into all the profit targets that SMB Capital talks about for that setup. So Missing out on a nice winner over here because I tried to possibly turn a intraday swing trade into a momentum trade. So just got to be careful over there sometimes with what you're doing. Anyways, profitable winner. Can't complain. Thank you ASTS for saving the day, and that's why homework, we did that last night, helped us on the trade. RKLB, another one we talked about last night on stream. If it was holding above 33.50, look for the long. It did that exactly in this area. However, very light volume, so I jumped out of the trade. I figure if the stock was gonna break this range with some volume, maybe I'll jump back in. It didn't do that, so I never had to get back into the trade. Perfect, don't have to worry about it in that case. But it did bring in some volume. You can see how volume starts to pick back up as the stock bounces from VWAP and pushes right back into that range. So that was a spot to take the trade. But around this time, I was busy getting yelled at by my manager, so missed that entry. Later on in the day, after I was done getting yelled at by my manager, again finding what I thought was a Spencer scalp, 20-minute or more hold into the high a day. This is also an all-time high. This is also kind of day 2. The space sector is hot at the moment, so all things considered, I took the high a day break, gave it the low if this range risk, but you know, it just did not have the momentum I was looking for. It first popped into 34.20 with some volume, instantly flushed back below after that pop, and then the next pop into 34.20, it did the exact same thing. So seeing that happen, I said no point in being involved in this name. Let me just take my little quick little scalp on this, turning a break-even trade, another break. I did profit, but another break-even trade, doesn't matter, and just walking away with RKLB overall today. Last but not least, you can call this another break-even trade on the day for me, but overall it's a loser, right? I did lose a little bit of money, but it's a break-even trade because I don't really lose a lot of money on this. For the amount of money I lost on Circle or the amount of money I made on ASTS, CCL doesn't even matter. I don't even think it's worth talking about, but since it's up here, let me just quickly talk about it with you guys. CCL reported earnings report. We talked about this one last night on stream too. Look for the stock to look bullish above 25 on an earnings report, and that's exactly what it does. It opens above 25, pulls back to 25, holds 25, and then just starts ripping to the north side. Somewhere in this area, I guess you have the opening range 5-minute breakout, but really it's that 25 area that you're looking to get the dip buy into. So good earnings report, and getting above a previous resistance area. I think the previous resistance area was 224.50. Let me go to the 1-day chart here. Where is it? 224. Why did I say 224? It was 24.60, 24.50. So getting above that 24.50 and not even pushing into the 24.50 for a gap fill, basically bouncing off of 25, was more than enough information on this name to look for that long. So missing out on that because I wasn't in the office in time for that. I got into the office around 9:45 or 10, but also I'm trying to not get into the office before 9:45, before 10, so I don't have to lose money for no reason. Every day I start off, or back in the day, a month ago, every day I would start off my day with losing money at 9:30 to 10 o'clock, and then spend the rest of the day making that money back and just basically end break even. So I figured, you know what, screw it, why even bother? If my statistics are telling me that I suck off the open, I'm just not gonna touch it. I'm just not gonna show up to work for the open and just worry about the after 10 o'clock trades, because that's where my money makers are. And you can see how all of this week, all of last week, it's been a monumental change so far. CCL coming back to this one, so missing the 25 trade entry. Stock pops into above 26, has a beautiful range from 26 to 26.50. Basically the ATR of the stock. The stock's ATR, if I remember before today, was 50 cents, and it created one ATR range box on this name. Goes into high a day, has a little bit of a tiny range into high a day on the 2-minute, but on the 5-minute it's not really a range. It's kind of like a couple candles or maybe just one candle into high day. But on the 2-minute, it creates a pretty decent range, showing you that buyers are stepping up. So if that's the case, I could use that range low as a stop. So taking the high day breakout, and the high day breakout didn't really A, have volume, B, no follow through at all. So instantly taking me back to the downside and triggering my stop. I said, you know what, that's fine. I didn't have size to begin with on this trade, so who cares? Doesn't matter that I lose on this move on, and we can look for other trades later on. But keeping in mind that there could be a break afterwards. So if you see how the stock, after getting stopped out, actually created a higher low and then started making another range into the high day area. So I was like, maybe this is the trade. You know, this was possibly a little early. This could be the trade now with that as your swing low stop. You got a clear swing low stop higher above the previous low, and buyers trying to take the stock higher. At least they're attempting to. So this has to be the one where it goes, and if it doesn't, then there's just no more long on this trade today. And you can see how it tries to, but it gets stuffed right back. When that stuff happens, I'm figuring, you know, there's no point in me giving the stock to the low of that range, or even to VWAP to see if it can bounce from VWAP. I could always get back in around VWAP instead of having to dance, you know, instead of having to slip all the way to VWAP and then see that, oh, we're gonna go much lower. So just taking that quick out. And this tiny little loser didn't really matter. Again, small size, tiny loser would have turned this into a real trade above in this area, and had some fun if it actually worked out. Later on, fashionably late scalp. This is an SMB capital setup. This is when the 9 EMA crosses VWAP, and that's exactly what happens in this area. Actually, the 9 EMA, when it crosses VWAP, the stock is trading at a much higher price, so you could have ended up with a better average price around $26 or so, and you get the move down to $26.50. The target was $26.40, so I guess you don't really get the target based on that setup, but you also never really got stopped out based on the setup. So if you just played the setup for what it is, which is the 9 EMA crossing the VWAP, you pick your time frame. I was doing this on the 5-minute. You can do it on the 2-minute. You can do it on the 1-minute. It's your call. I did it on the 5-minute over here. Eventually I said, why am I bothering with this name? I'm just FOMOing into a trade. My trade was at 25, and I wasn't in the office for that. So why am I bothering with this and just basically giving back the profits that I made from ASST? Stupid. Absolutely brain dead. So why don't I just go watch ASTS or AS... Did I put ASST? ASTS. So ASTS, I was like, why don't I just bother with this? This is around the same time that I'm getting into the CCL position. Guess what? One trade's working for me and working really well. The other one's not working for me. So why even bother with this one? I'm out of here, taking the exit on this name and moving on. Overall, pretty decent day. I think I know I tilted on circle here, but that tilt was still contained a little bit. You know, like I contained that tilt a little bit. There was a little bit of a battle for me to get short here. I didn't get fills, so clearly using the wrong gateway. I tried to take that 232 break. I tried to take the 240 break. I tried to take the 242 break, and all breakdowns just didn't give me fills. So very frustrated with that. Little tilted over here too, didn't get filled on the breakdown. I had to offer and pray to God the stock was gonna pop up and fill me on the offer. It did, and thankfully I was able to catch a little scalp out of that, but still very tilt inducing today, because this was a name that I was you know, very keen on looking for. I wanted to build the repetition to trade the first red day setup, and this probably was the best red day setup out there. This probably was the textbook red day setup, and to fumble on that the way I did is pretty tilting. Anyways, Coming back to the other stuff on board today, time to create a watch list. So let's actually pull up my awesome new tool at disposal, Perplexity. Summarize today's market movers and top moves, market moves and top movers. And basically, you know, I don't really need Perplexity AI for this. I kind of knew exactly why the market moved. We had the ceasefire talk between Israel and Iran. If you guys watch Trump curse on live TV or to not to live TV, maybe to news reporters, that was pretty hilarious. Trump is you know, you gotta love Trump. But anyway, ceasefire kickstarting the market to a new rally. You got a nice trend day on QQQ. QQQ basically tickled all-time high today, and you know, possibly breaking out of all-time high tomorrow. S&P 500 still below the all-time high, but at this point we are stone's throw away from you know, this very key level. The Dow Jones about to possibly break out of one of its resistance areas. Obviously, Dow Jones has been taking a big hit from UNH, possibly UNH setting up for some sort of a long opportunity over here as it gets above its earnings VWAP. Not saying that that's a trade, but I'm just, you know, spitballing over here because UNH is in DIA, and if DIA starts breaking out, maybe that takes UNH to the upside along with it. But coming back to the main markets, QQQ, S&P 500, we are basically at all-time high or stone's throw away from it. So, you know, loving the market move. My number one position in my portfolio at the moment, Robinhood, and it is, you know, at all-time high, baby. What more can I ask for? Is it at all-time high? Not yet, but very close. 85 is all-time high. You could, you know, say this is possibly a little extended on the weekly chart, but we are what, like 30% away from the 50-day moving average. A nice little range over here, not really a range, but that continues to hold the 9-day moving average very smoothly and just keep going higher. There's no reason to exit out of your longs in this pattern. So just loving what I'm seeing across the board. Palantir getting ready to possibly break out again from its all-time high. Dell is looking good for me. I bought NBIS today in pre-market around 48.50, and honestly I wasn't expecting NBIS to do this intraday. So just goes to show, if you put yourself in the right names, you will be rewarded by the market gods. So getting the swing account boosted is obviously a wonderful thing to see. Ah, come on. This one hurts. So I took a loss on SMCI on the swing account in pre-market. I honestly thought that I did not have any SMCI shares left, but that is not the story. But as SMCI dumped yesterday, in the morning today, I pulled up the account and I was like, oh wait, I still have SMCI and it's my only red holding. Let's just get rid of it. Why am I holding this if this is my only red holding, especially after their whole convertible notes thing that they just did? So screw this name, I'm gonna jump out, and sadly I could have jumped out at a much better price, probably even hold it and just continue to stay long. But no, doing the right thing, being a man, doing the right thing. Shout out to Russell Peters, and taking the loss as the stock did close below the 21-day moving average yesterday. Anyways, enough about the swing account. Let's quickly talk about the hottest movers on the day. If I remember correctly, well, honestly, I don't remember correctly because I did not watch any name on the market other than Circle, ASTS, and RKLB. So if you guys know exactly what stocks moved around today, maybe you guys can throw them at me, and we can take a look at these stocks. But otherwise, I would have to refer to some tools like our good friends over at Centerpoint. Uber moved today. Okay, Uber, Circle, BBAI. Okay, biometric software, BBAI. I know that one broke out on the daily chart, so that's pretty interesting. Oh, BBAI looking beautiful. Nice breakout, very close to the all-time high, very close to the 200-day moving average and the 50-day moving average still. So you know, we can't say it's extended. The move's kind of just getting started at the moment, baby. So I would love for a dip, but I don't think I'm getting a dip on this name. $4 was the area. You could have taken the breakout if you had some alerts for it. 460, technically 520, 550 is still not bad, but you are kind of risking about $1 on that trade. If it does get back below $4, in my opinion, there is you know, a pattern killer. It kind of kills the long if it gets back below 4, but it's still above the 200-day moving average, so I'm not sure if that's going to be as negative if it does get below 4, but still you'll see some possible trimming and stops being triggered if that does happen, so keep an eye out for it. I think this one is for sure to keep an eye on for the swing account. AMD, my love, AMD finally recovering after a big south side move over here, so shout out to AMD. There is a statement that I always hear from the Revere Asset boys, and also from Ariel, that if semiconductors are strong and the banking sector is strong, it's really hard to take the market down, and you're seeing that exactly play out. So semiconductors, AMD, AVGO got an upgrade today, and that gapped up to the north side. Nvidia looking like it wants to start moving higher again. What other semiconductors do we have? Micron, I mean, I have no words for Micron. This stock looked like it was gonna suck and be the losers for the semis, and then all of a sudden an insane rally. That was a good spot to get long Micron right there at 99. That's a missed opportunity. Nice undercut and rally over here, you could say, too, of every single moving average. So insane move so far, and possibly rallying back into all-time highs with the way the semiconductors and the markets are moving. So possibly maybe a first red day opportunity on Micron. The more squeeze mode and the higher this name goes, the faster and the higher this name goes, with more volume, the more fun we could have. But you know, at this point I'm just dreaming for a first red day setup again, because I fumbled, I screwed the pooch hard, and I'm just the worst trader there is. That's all. Just the worst trader there is. Maybe Corby goes a little crazy and then sets up for something. I don't know. Coinbase is going a little crazy, so maybe Coinbase sets up for a first red trade. That could be something to keep an eye on. This is going into ridiculous territories at the moment, and if I remember correctly, Coinbase's last earnings report was dog. So if Coinbase starts going crazy, which it already is, I think that will be something to study for a first red trade setup. And right now pushing into, I think, the year-to-date high, the 52-week high is exactly 350 area. So Coinbase 350 was in play today. Oh my god, 348.97. It was in play today. So Coinbase 350 will be in play tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen. It's time to put some stocks in my watch list. Coinbase, Palantir, possibly Robinhood, BBAI. Don't think I care about AMD because I think it's a little extended. Micron, I'll throw it in there, but volume's not really increasing. ENPH up a little bit. I mean, really, who cares? FDX reports after hour, right? We'll take a look at that. Obviously, Circle. Uber did gap up. Did it go to a new all-time high today? No, but it's basically pushing back into that high. So Uber possibly worth keeping an eye on. Obviously Tesla, Nvidia, Microsoft, Meta, Google, Apple, Amazon. We have Coinbase already. We'll put Coinbase and Hood next to each other. MicroStrategy and IBIT next to each other. Oil names, I guess you could keep a watch for the peace treaty catalyst, which is basically we're not going to a full-blown war, so oil prices possibly come back down, RTX possibly comes back down, and the unwinding of the oil and the war trade possibly worth keeping an eye on. But I think there's way too many names already on the watch list here for us to keep an eye out for. Last but not least, it would be the earnings stocks. Let's go quickly take a look at FDX. BlackBerry reported today after hours. Okay, shout out to the Canadian company. But nothing else besides that. You have some companies tomorrow reporting pre-market. Mainly the one important would be General Mills, so GIS. Micron reports this week after hours. Now that's gonna be spicy. So keep an eye out for that. TH, you like Nike. So for sure we're gonna keep an eye out for that one. Walgreens, I think Walgreens was supposed to get bought out, but I forgot if that deal canceled or not. Anyways, FDX, let's go take a look at our good new friend over at Perplexity. See what they have to say about FDX's earnings report. Where did it go? Okay. FDX. Oh, slammed down in the after hours. And if I remember correctly, this 230 area was previously struggle for FDX also. It's probably right around the all-time high. So let's take a look at that bullish review. FDX Drive cost-cutting program and the integration of express and ground operations are viewed as transformative, with management delivering on $4 billion in savings and targeting another $1 billion. The freight spinoff and network 2.0 plan are expected to streamline operations and unlock value, supporting margin improvement and long-term growth. Bearish view: despite achieving cost-cutting targets, analyst points to persistent margin pressure and skepticism about whether further saving can offset inflation, higher wages, and macroeconomic headwinds. There are concerns about the potential disruption from the operation overall and doubts the initiatives will deliver expected margin improvements, especially given recent earnings misses. And obviously here is today's earnings move. Well, I guess today's move intraday before the earnings. I want to see the earnings report. So they did beat revenue estimates and they beat EPS estimates, but I'm guessing they guided lower, and that possibly taking the stock to the downside. Let's continue reading over here. A solid finish. Q4 consolidated revenue up 1% year over year. The company is actively optimizing its network. Q1 F1 full year 2026 is expected to be flat or to 2% revenue growth. Full year 2026 transformation. So I'm not seeing, I guess, too much negative, other than the fact that the growth was a little bit lackluster, just 1%, and they're expecting to be flat to 2%. So lackluster growth across the board, and not worthy enough to be at all-time highs. Oh wait, FTX 230 was not all-time high? I remember it trading around this area not too long ago. It was 300s. Okay, I remember trading this earnings report right here on FTX, so that's why I remember the all-time high area being struggle. But boy, oh boy, did I forget about this move down here. So clearly under 200 EMA now. It looks like I have a line from previously over here, and that one clearly never came back into play. I guess it came back into play a little bit. The story is, however, under the 200-day moving average and possibly getting below the 50-day moving average. 50-day at 218, 219, and you can see the stock well below it already. So any pop tomorrow, ideally gives you a pop into 220 and then rejects 220 for you to be short into. Quickly, let's go take a look at what the PE ratio is for FDX. PE is 14, so that is a little bit demotivating for the short side, because you can see investors usually using that as a metric to start snagging up a stock at discount. putting discount in quotes, but if investors are saying, hey, this stock is not looking good to me at the moment and I want to sell my position, then you know, I am more interested for the short side than the long side, no matter how low the PE is. So this is right here, the key level, 214, 215. I think the stock was at 215 in the after hours, so just shy of the 214 area. If the stock is below 214 tomorrow, I think it's all systems go on the short, as long as it's staying below 214 on the pops. But if it's staying above 214, that there could be some sort of a hidden long over here back to 220, where you're not risking too much. Maybe you're risking you know, 211, 212, whatever the low of day is, and then when it gets back above 214, there could be a long in that pocket where you're not risking too much for a nice little move back up for an intraday long, as the shorts are possibly taking covers and taking profits, and new longer term longs are stepping into the position. But if it starts to stay below 214, that just makes the trade a no-brainer short for us. So keeping an eye on that stock at that price, 214. Also put in 215 for now. Okay, and that is the earnings mover. Other than that, I guess for the most part, we kind of talked about, you know, some of these movers at a quick glance. I don't even think I need to put any levels on these stocks, because you know, the levels are very, very obvious. Ooh, don't draw, please don't draw. The levels are very obvious. It's either pushing into its all-time high, or for example, Circle. Let's talk about Circle. Important levels today would be, let me delete those drawings. Important levels for tomorrow would be today's low, today's VWAP, yesterday's low. I would bet you that today's VWAP is around yesterday's low. So let's go take a look at that. Yesterday's low, 230, 248. Today's VWAP on the daily chart, it says 235. What is today's VWAP on the 5-minute chart? It's kind of around that yesterday's low. Damn it, I lost that bet, but you guys see the idea. Today's VWAP on the 5-minute is at 240, 241, 242, and on the 5-minute is basically at 235. So if it pops into today's VWAP, much like how it rejected yesterday's VWAP, I talked about that trade to you yesterday. Look for the stock to pop into yesterday's VWAP, reject yesterday's VWAP, and then break down. Now you have an all-day hold under VWAP, another breakdown. I feel like throwing this fucking mic across the screen, across this room, because of how obvious this fucking trade was, man. I am so annoyed. Oh, like, should have been a PR day for me. Should have been one of my biggest days day trading. But instead I'm retarded. That's sad. That's so sad. I even laid out the setup yesterday, did I not? Like, I talked about the plan yesterday on stream. Look for the pop into fucking yesterday's VWAP. Look for the reject. Look for the stock to stay below VWAP. I mean, what more do you want, Brad? Just stop being retarded and take the fucking trade. Half of it comes from me being scared because my manager's gonna yell at me for stupid shit. I mean, getting yelled at for, you know, what is it? Where's this trade? Let me show you. Getting yelled at for losing absolutely nothing on here. Like a break-even trade. Getting yelled at for a break-even trade. Getting yelled at for taking that breakout. What am I doing, bro? And because of this, I'm now worried about taking a different trade. When I took this trade, I was already hearing comments, and now I'm worried about taking another trade. I asked a simple question as, should I take this breakdown? And just that sparked like a rage moment. Like, he started getting angry about me even asking that question. Like, what? How am I supposed to do anything? Like, if I'm going to be trading scared, I'm never gonna be trading. So, you know, lots of headache at the moment for me in the trading world, but just happy that I'm able to come out profitable at the end of the day through all of that. So a little bit of a win streak for me at the moment. Let me see how many days win streak are we, like a 2-3 day win streak, 4-day win streak. So nice little couple day win streak, 1 2 3 4-day win streak going on with a red day, and then another 1 2 3-day green streak before that. So not doing too bad at the moment, but the mental is being affected quite a bit, so hopefully that gets fixed up. On the watch list, guys, I think I'm just gonna leave it on that, because I didn't eat all day. I didn't eat lunch. Well, I'm trying not to eat lunch. I'm trying to do a fasting thing. I'm getting ridiculously fat. No gym for the past year. Just eating like an absolute pig. Eating tons of sugary, sweetie stuff, and a lot of junk food. So just trying to go on a fasting routine, not eat all day, and then just basically eat dinner. So it's 9 o'clock. I didn't eat all day. I'm starving. It was ridiculously hot today. So I'm also low on energy. So I'm sorry if you guys did not like the watch list part of the stream today. Usually I'm a little bit more in depth with the watch list part of the stream, but hey, at least I was more in depth with the review part of the stream, and now it's time for me to eat food and review the other homework off stream. Did the IPO soar and Tesla crashed? You talking about Circle? I'm not sure, but do we have IPOs tomorrow? I don't think we have an IPO tomorrow, do we? Yeah, no, we don't have an IPO that we care about tomorrow. So nothing that matters. Come in obviously tomorrow for Jefferson Capital IPO and more fun stuff to talk about. And that will be all to talk about. All right, ladies and gentlemen, have a great day. Have a great night. Have a great rest of whatever is left in wherever you are. I'll catch you tomorrow, same time, same place. Peace. Get ready for the watch list for tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen. So I'm gonna bring in my big screen over here. Back to another brand new week of After the After Hours with your host TraderPrad. I'm doing great. Hopefully you guys are joining me on that great side. Markets are moving around. Might just be a risk on type of day, so let's see what happens. 8 o'clock tomorrow. As you guys know, we do the stream Monday to Thursday, 8 p.m. Shout out to my affiliate sponsors, Benzinga, Trade Ideas, the #1 scanner to go to, Trader Sync, promo code down below, promo code PRAD15 to get 15% off. I will catch you guys tomorrow, 8 o'clock, same time, same place. Until then, TraderPrad out. Adios.